All right, welcome to a fifth anniversary show of the Horse Racing Happy Hour. Louie and I.
How about that? 5 years. Look at that.
But what year did you do your? Did I get you out there?
2018 Derby was our first.
All right, so 2018. Yeah, you were out there for Derby.
Yeah.
And then
our first major race together was the Oaks Monomoy Girl. Not a bad first race.
No,
How about that? Yeah. How about that?
I love the fact that again that I also 4 years ago yesterday we were at Churchill Downs for the Derby in September.
Yeah. No, it's September Derby anniversary. That's right. Hopefully never again.
So it's a special day always that we're celebrating the show. We are not shirtless today. I know there's a lot of people who are disappointed about that. Are you going to go shirtless? We got clip-on mics now.
Dinnerman asked me not to do that anymore, and I respect Matt Dinnerman. He's calling grade ones now. I can't tell that guy no. Grade one caller, Dinnerman. How about that?
3 Colts here on join the show. Arkansas, little Monmouth.
Dominating Monmouth. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Matt Dinnerman, I mean, there's probably no person who can speak to how this show can elevate someone's career than you. Let's hear about it. Thanks for joining us tonight. By the way, I guess we should explain why we have all these guests.
Well, it's the 5th anniversary for sure.
Yes.
But it's also someone's last show on the Happy Hour.
Yes, it's going to be my final show. I'm moving on to just do some other things that are kind of more in the scope of the industry where I actually work, and I got some big goals and some big aspirations, and we're gonna start hitting hard. So
all of us, family stuff, right? I mean,
family stuff for sure, but at the same time, like my kids are a different age
than
your kids, and so.
Well, but you got one going to college soon.
Well, the one's in college, and my last one's going to college.
Last one's going to college. Now you're a busy dude. No,
for sure. The empty nest piece is coming in, which is pretty cool. So Matt Dinnerman joins us.
If not our most frequent, so like Road to the Preakness shows, we get those guys once a month, like random guests jumping on the show. I think it's Dinnerman, man. How about that?
He definitely started coming on early and came on often. So, the Golden Gate Fields days, had him on right around the same time. People were laying on the track. Out there in San Francisco, and now he's doing the thing in Oakland and in Monmouth. Yeah. Are they laying on the track in protest in Arkansas?
They would never do that. If they did that, they'd be dragged out. We would have people from the bar across the street with pitchforks, and that would be that.
That's right.
It would be allowed. I mean, from having cocktails to handicapping with your shirts off, what a strange trip this has been. So, Mike, congratulations on a 5 years. And just because you're leaving this doesn't mean you're leaving racing. That's the good
thing. I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, I definitely I missed out going to Monmouth for the Haskell. And I'm really bummed about that. The videos were awesome with you guys up and around all the ducks. And
it's fantastic.
Yeah. That was great, man. It was good. Good stuff, man. So I appreciate you popping on. What's coming up in your world, Matt?
Well, we got Monmouth at the Meadowlands after the last 4 racing days here at Monmouth. We got Saturday, Sunday, the next week, Saturday and Sunday ends things. And then I've got 2 days a week for 5 weeks of Meadowlands. So no harness racing. It's an all turf meet for the thoroughbreds. And then I'm going to drive to Kentucky, your guys' neck of the woods. Take a few days there, and then drive to Arkansas from Kentucky, drop the car off, go to the Breeders' Cup, and spend a month with Mom and Dad in San Diego before back at Oakland. So,
man, that's
just living the dream over here, guys. Living the dream.
Tell you what, you're going to get all the Louis Rebelle you can handle. So I don't know if that's, it's okay, by the way. Like,
hang on. Don't you dare do what you're about to do, but go ahead and do it.
I just take a spray bottle in those early days and just kind of spray them and just keep them at.
So, Louis? Where are you in Kentucky?
I live in Louisville.
Yeah, we're in Louisville.
Okay, then I'll be in Lexington then. Perfect.
Not hard. Yeah, it's
I'm kidding. I'm totally.
Yeah, it's probably an hour. So if you wanted to see
I'll
people,
be in both places. I'll be visiting people. I'm sure I'll see you. Yeah, it'll be mid-October. So
good. Yeah, that's a nice time in the state.
Yeah, just living the dream, guys, as you guys are, I'm sure too, with everything going on.
I gotta say though, in on shows like this when we actually get to pause and celebrate people, Matt, you're one of the people we're so glad that we got to meet early in this show and watching the progression from Golden Gate, which we enjoyed. We love having you on talking those races, but it's different when we're talking Oakland, when we're talking Monmouth, and we're so glad that you've allowed us to be part of that journey from California. I mean, I remember meeting you, and you were like, "Hey, a California guy. If I end up at Golden Gate rest of my career, it's gonna be awesome. This will be a great career." And then bang, you're calling grade ones. You're calling my favorite turf race, the United Nations, that kind of stuff. And so, thanks for including us, man. It's been fantastic watching your road to both of those places.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you having me on, and what can I say? I've been very lucky. Worked hard and got some luck on my side, and a lot of people that helped me along the way. So, it's been one heck of a ride, and I'm loving every minute of it. So when you work hard and you achieve your dreams, once you get there, you're just trying to keep doing the best you can and improving, but at the same time, you might as well enjoy it.
Man, it's been awesome. So congrats on all your success, and then and hopefully we'll see you soon. Thanks a lot for dropping in today, Matt.
I hope so. Happy 5-year anniversary, and Mike, don't be a stranger. We'll be here.
All right. See you guys.
See you.
All right, that was Matt Dinnerman again, track announcer.
The cavalcade has begun. You got a cavalcade of friends stopping by, Mike Gandolfo.
Awesome. That's
How about
fantastic.
that?
We'll go out to Maryland because this guy wants to get his.
He's going to bet.
He's got he's going to watch Ravens. And this delay, I mean, Scott Wyckoff is got to watch this football game. He's hoping that the Ravens have it blown out by halftime and he can go to bed.
Well, no, I think he's hoping the Ravens lose so his Browns can move to the top of the North. I think that's what we're doing. Yeah, I think that's what's really going on. He can't say that out loud.
No, he can't.
Because he lives where he lives. But I think that's what he's really hoping for. Welcome, Scott. How are you?
Great. Congratulations on 5 years. I mean, I found you guys a couple of years ago. You found me and kind of changed the way that I have been covering horse racing. You guys have given me some real ideas and some different perspectives, and it's been a great run. Great having you guys here at the Preakness every year. Mike, I know East Baltimore is going to miss you next year.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, my travels to Baltimore with the scenic living conditions that we got to enjoy while being in Baltimore, and boat trips.
Your tower worked the first one. Mine did. Yours worked. You're welcome. That's friendship.
I got a contact high going through the hallway, but
But I'm telling you, when you guys hooked up with Jimmy Seafood, man, that hit it out of the ballpark. I knew you guys were legit when you told me you were doing your seminar at Jimmy Seafood.
We'll be back 150, man, in the spring. Yeah,
that's
for sure. We're happy on that's right.
Yeah. And Scott, by the way, you're a true pro when it comes to media, and just it's just awesome that you have embraced us the way you have. And so
for sure,
I really enjoyed having dinner when we got to you in Baltimore last year too. So thanks so much for everything you've done for the show and being a fan and being a guest. It's been awesome. So
yeah, you guys have done a great job, and it's really neat how we kind of do horse racing media a little different than kind of the old days. We're not old school. We're not, turf riders. We're people that were drawn to the game for a lot of different reasons. And I think the stories we tell really bring other people into the game. The stories of not only the people that are involved in all aspects, but the stories of how to bet and not to be afraid to dive into the deep end of the pool and to enjoy that end of the game. I've enjoyed that with you guys, especially.
Well, love it, man. Have a hunch, bet a bunch, as our friend Danny Brewer says. And last year, the Blackout Season Day, man, is the biggest bet I've ever hit. So, and it's probably mostly because of the next guest we're going to have coming on here in just a second. But yeah,
Scott, no, for sure. The Preakness is something that I love going to. I love, you're a Cleveland guy, I'm a Detroit guy, and there's something familiar about Baltimore, even though it's not familiar every time I go. And getting to go and cover the Preakness, hang out with you and your crew there at WBAL, frankly, it's a real honor. And so thanks for including a couple of weird guys from Louisville in your broadcast and in your circle. We really appreciate it.
Well, and there's nothing like watching you guys do your show from high atop the roof in the press box in the dining room.
Let's go.
Yeah, man. You guys stay close to that food.
Let's go.
And this is going to be it. Preakness 150. Then they're tearing that place down. So it'll be a little bit weird hanging out with you at Laurel Park, but we'll make do.
This ridiculous show outlasted Pimlico. How about that?
I love it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
man.
Scott, we love you, man. Thanks so much for jumping on tonight. It really does mean a lot to us. And I'll be there in the spring. Maybe we'll drag Gandalf out to Maryland one of these years.
Enjoy the football game tonight.
Mike, congratulations. We'll miss you, but we know you're moving on to bigger and better things, and we will live our lives vicariously through you.
All right, man. See you, Scott. I don't know if we can get much bigger than Scott Wyckoff, though. I mean,
We wrapping up then?
Are we done?
Yeah, 10-minute show.
10-minute show. No.
I mean, we got someone. Well, like 6 more people playing, but yeah, no. I mean, whatever. Yeah. Do we need to stop?
No.
Or are you going to thank people for big bets? Because that might be something.
Well, I mean, look at that. Look at Sweeney popping in. Why doesn't Mike admit Baffert pushed him out? Andy Sweeney popping through. Andy Sweeney, man, like
I would be so happy if that's why you were leaving the show. That it was Baffert that was like, "Yo, Louie, you got to get this guy on."
I mean,
I would do it for sure. By the way, Bob, you just asked. I'll get rid of this guy in a second. You just tell me what you need, buddy.
We got a little rainbow action going on.
Oh,
over Arrowhead.
Oh man.
Yeah. So there you go. They're getting the rainbow
How
out.
much are you going to enjoy not having to do this and just watch football?
I mean, I have it on sometimes. I think I'm just gonna enjoy probably more than anything else, just being able to start my Friday with a little better rest and stuff like that. But,
yeah, I get it.
yeah, but that it's gonna be a hole, and I'm gonna miss for sure because like I've got to have guys that I think become really good friends. I mean, everybody who's been on so far has been awesome, but then there's certain people that like start becoming part of our road crew.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
who we share a house with, we share living conditions with, we're going
They
out
have the same show on their credential. Yes.
Yeah, and
these sorts of people.
And I can't imagine another world where me and John Piazek even like come close to having a friendship.
I'm with you.
And now he's one.
He's
of my
got a
dudes.
nickname in our group. He's Johnny P.
He's Johnny P.
Like, this is it, man. This is great.
So, John, what's up, man? How you doing?
I am doing well. It's in a busy week over at my new employer of Yonkers Raceway. It's the Yonkers coming up this Saturday, but of course I had to make time for the final show. And it's funny because Louis texted me about two, 3 weeks ago, and he's like, "Hey, like, you around on the 5th? It's Mike's last show. I'd like to have you on." And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I'd love to come on." And it didn't really sink in at that moment, and then when I was backstage and Mike actually said, like, this is it, it's a weird feeling because I've been doing the show, for about 3.5 years now. I watch you guys pretty often, even when I'm not on, and we've had great chemistry together, and I really have enjoyed being on. And it's gonna be weird not have Mike on,
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Louis got. I think one of the things that's been so much fun for me is just to kind of watch. Louis came into this, and he had no career in media at the time, and just to see where he's elevated, and knowing that both Louis and I are visionaries,
Mm-hmm.
and so Louis's been able to take his vision and continue to push and innovate and do all the things he's going to do with this show. It's going to be so special, and it's going to be amazing to just sit back and watch. So, like, I know that he's gonna, in some ways, like we've had the conversations in the past, like where I've always said, hey, if I'm holding this back, because the goals sometimes didn't always line up, right? So, and that's not what's happening here, by the way, people. Like Louis are on really, really good terms. I don't want to allude to like there's any kind of like beef.
I texted so many people ahead of time to make sure they knew, so that I didn't get the text like, "Are you and Mike okay?"
Yeah,
because when Issel hung it up on the radio side, people were like, "Oh,
but you legit stabbed Issel in the back."
Shut up.
No, but yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, like Louis has taken to this media world and put himself in the middle of it, and he innovates, and he's getting connections, and that's from awesome people like you, Johnny P, to sponsors and whatever else, and just he's going to continue to push the envelope. The show's going to continue to just grow and be better and better. So,
well, and frankly, it's on the insights and people like John who got us connected in Maryland, right? With Maryland Thoroughbred and with different folks, around the state. And one of the things we've come to really enjoy on this show is the regionality of horse racing, right? And the different pockets of the country, the different traditions around there. And John was certainly one of the guys that introduced us. I mean, long before we met that coastal elite Dan Hillman,
Yes.
You know, we met John Piasek. He was the foundation of our Maryland time. Now he's got great hair. I hate him, and it's a whole thing. How about that?
You know who doesn't like
Mike always had a lot of great comments about my hair. You know, next time I go on, Louis, you got to pick up the slack. We need.
Oh man,
Mike's not going to be here.
Oh man, I see you still haven't gotten a haircut though, so you know it is what it is. Yeah, well, listen, while he's here, we got to pull. We'll leave John on, but we got to bring the Maryland people up. There's Illman right there.
There he is.
Iron Will Dan Illman with his. Is that an Ace Hardware shirt? Is that what that says? What is it?
Well, it could be.
Okay.
Oh man, Dan Illman, look at this. I'll tell you what. There's
the road to the Preakness crew right here.
Yeah, the road to the Preakness crew.
Yeah.
Is it your favorite photo we've taken doing this show?
It was definitely special.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that, you know, just because we spend so much time together. So,
yeah.
And we give each other like that's always when it becomes fun, when you've got a group of guys like we were, and we can kind of jab at each other and know it's all in good fun and just enjoy it. So
I mean, it was for all of us except for Illman, who was being very serious. Dan, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing? Louis, you know, you finally got what you've always told me. You always wanted to be the star of this show. You always wanted to be a solo an act. And I'm not sure you can able to handle it without Big Mike. I thought he was the glue that held the show together.
Well, it's not a thought. That's just statement of fact. Yeah, right. What are we doing here?
Yeah, that was always the role for sure.
Glue. You're the glue guy.
The glue.
First to the gym, last to leave, coach's kid, sneaky athletic. That's you, buddy.
Setting up the equipment, tearing it down. Yeah. So Louis still doesn't even really know what a microphone is.
I really don't.
Yeah.
Well, we put this on tonight, and I'm like, is green up or down? That was my response. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Does the light go to the top or the bottom? Oh man.
Oh man. Dan, do you have a favorite Mike Gandolfo story? I'm just kidding. You don't have to do that.
Do I have a favorite Mike Gandolfo story? No.
I have Mike Gandolfo stories. Maybe not a favorite, but I have stories.
Well, like I said, John Piazek's the reason why I got my biggest hit ever on a race, and so there you go.
There you go.
I appreciate that, and then Illman just gives me shit for taking other people's picks. So
you're right.
You know, that's fine. And listen, if you're scoring, that's all well and good. But at the end of the day, don't you get satisfaction, you know, making your own opinions?
Oh, yeah.
With analysis, and all of a sudden, when your horse runs a terrible 10th, you say, well, it was the jockey's fault.
I also blame the jockey.
Yeah,
whichever one.
Blame the jockey for sure.
Right.
Well, fellas, thank you guys for joining us on a special night for us and being a huge part of the show for the last couple of years. It's been awesome.
John asked me if we're doing a Maryland Million show, and Dan, the answer was yes. So get ready for that, friend.
Can't wait. Can't wait. Maryland Million, my all-time favorite day of the year, other than the Preakness, perhaps. But looking forward to it, gents.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Great. And I will say on Wednesday at Delaware Park, possibly the favorites in both the Maryland Million, Lassie, and Nursery will be running. I'll be sure check it out. We got Caprice in the, I believe, the Small Wonder, and then remarkably also on the card.
You turn up, man. You know that. Come on.
Maryland.
You're not gonna do this anymore.
No,
you're not gonna hang out with Johnny P. being like,
you know, any show
stay in Delaware.
At Kentucky Downs, not every show is going to tell you about Delaware Park on a Wednesday afternoon, and
right. That's right.
Absolutely.
That's mine. Caprice and remarkably on a Wednesday.
Does Illman have any nice words for Mike Gandolfo as he moves off the show?
Well, Mike, I mean, you're going to succeed no matter what you do. I mean, you've got a big mouth and you fooled a lot of people for most of the time. So I have no surprise. No, wouldn't be surprised at all if you continue to fool people and climb the corporate ladder, so to speak.
Yeah, that's actually what I don't want to do. So, but
is that so to speak? That would mean what you want.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's like no offense, and then you offend someone.
That's right.
Yeah. Not to be rude. I mean,
bless his heart. How about that? Bless his heart. Well, guys, we mean it. The Preakness shows are so fun. We really enjoy them, and getting to know the folks in Maryland and the trips and the back and forth for sure. It's been a serious, incredible positive on the show. So we really do appreciate you guys.
Well, we had a lot of fun. And again, Mike, we always wish you the best.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, John. Appreciate you guys for being on. All right, guys. All right, Louis. So that was Dan Illman and John Piazek. That's our road to the Preakness crew right there.
We'll do it again next year for sure.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. I should probably get my buttocks out to an actual Maryland Million at some point because these guys do so much good stuff for us, so much free content from those guys. But man, the next one's for you. I'm really.
Well, it's not just for me. I mean, this.
Yeah, no, but this one's for right now. This one's for you. Bring him up. This is our dude.
Look, we're gonna go to. What hat do you have on, EJ?
I've got horse racing happy hour.
I got okay? Yeah, I got Kentucky Winter Circle hat on. So,
well, I saw that, and I was going to wear this anyway, so I want to make sure it's coming through there. You know,
it looks good.
Adjusting that there. How you guys doing?
We're good, man. This is the man, the myth, the legend, EJ Clark.
Let's go.
He knows every single
thing
on the backside of Churchill Downs, and I'll tell you what, it's special to have EJ on, and we've told the origin story before, and EJ's been on our airways several times, but like none of this ever happens without EJ.
That's right.
And so just the whole way that everything kind of came about, and I'll let EJ kind of tell it from his perspective too. But man, I tell you, I keep on trying to think what year it was, and it has to be like 2010, 2011, in that realm. Maybe even 2009, but I don't think it was that early. But I was on a lot of sports radio broadcasts talking about basketball recruiting, whatever else. And this, Dugan Ryan asked me, "Hey, you want to help us cover the Kentucky Derby?" And I was like, "Sure." And I didn't really know what I was doing. I was a Derby fan. I wouldn't say that I knew a whole lot about horse racing, but I was a Derby fan, and being a part of that was a huge thing. And man, EJ, there were some days that for the Oaks and the Derby weekend where I think I did like 14 hours of radio between your show, my show. We both had independent shows, and then I would hop on your show, and then we did the post show, and it got pretty crazy. We did that both days, and it was special, man. It was great. We got to do that all the way through. Maximum Security was that our last one that we did together? We did one after that.
That's the last one, Maximum Security. We actually started around 2012, something like that, Mike.
Okay.
And you had come on the show, and then for about 5 years we did the recap, and on Maximum Security. I love to tell the story because they asked us to go on 30 minutes early. Normally we would wait to Horse Racing Radio Network was over, and then we would come on ESPN Louisville and our original host station, which was WXVW. So we had 5 stations with the recap for those years, and they asked us to go on early. So we did in 2019, and the rest is kind of, we've talked about this several times, but as everybody knows, Maximum Security came drifted way out at the top of the stretch. There'd been some rain. There was an idea that maybe he saw a flash of light on the water or something. I don't think we ever got a really specifically reason why he did drift out. But he could have taken down about 5 or 6 horses for sure, and it could have been catastrophic. And so immediately when they got back, the jock's objection sign went up, the jockey's objection sign from 2 of the jockeys. And it set about a situation of 22 minutes while the stewards were looking at the film to decide whether or not to take it down. In that 22 minutes, we did not have a front end view. In other words, we didn't have the head on shot. All we had was the replay of the Derby that you see on a side view. So we couldn't see the head on at the top of the stretch. That was the problem to really get a good sense. But we soldiered through, didn't we, Mike?
We did. And actually my part of that story is like, so I would watch the Derby from the press area in 322.
Yep.
EJ watches it from the track, which he showed me how to do this year, which was fantastic and awesome to be on the freaking track for Derby 150. And then EJ goes and gets sound and stuff like that in the winter circle. And you had your rain gear on and all that stuff. And so race is over. and we find out we're going on early, I'm booking it down to where we're doing the show down in the parlay, and you're getting sound on the track, if I remember correctly.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm going on the air thinking Maximum Security won the race. And then I'm just, and again, you're doing your thing, Lane's doing his thing, and I've got to figure out, you did jump in with me for a little bit. And we're trying to kind of explain what's going on live on the air. And it was probably the most authentic, just reactive, instant reaction radio you could possibly have. We probably should have submitted it for an Eclipse Award, EJ, but but at the end of the day, like all the things that you've taught me about horse racing, because you're a freaking encyclopedia. And whether it was the Stormy Daniels jokes that we would always have in that
we had fun with the Stormy. Lane and I got off one Derby weekend. I think it was Friday. We started with Stormy, and we did about 10 minutes, and we really went off the road there. But it was a lot of fun, because every once in a while you got to kind of break it up, and just kind of be a little bit loose there.
Yeah, and I hope that's what I brought. That's what I was trying to bring to your all show in the first place when it all started up, so that to make it a little loose, give a little fresh voice, and. But
well, you did, Mike. You really, when you came on board, you added some things that people don't realize, that Lane does double duty on Oaks and Derby Day.
He worked his tail off.
He's getting quotes, and he's also doing the radio show. So he has an assignment for all the stakes races usually. So we're on, and then we come back on for the last, right after the Kentucky Derby has been run, basically, or 10 to 30 minutes afterwards for a recap. We're going to sit there for 2 hours. We're going to bring you the live post-race interviews from the Oaks and the Derby. And it was a lot of fun doing that, but there was a lot of other things that we were able to cover. You were able to get the figures for us, the payoffs and prices for talk going back, because both days have a tremendous undercard. And that's so important, because a lot of times people are leaving the track and they've made some bets, and they're interested in a particular race, and you're able to go back and recap some of these great stakes races that are on the undercard. And I think that's just as important, or was just as important, with that recap, Mike. And Louis, you too. We grabbed you a time or two, especially for the Maximum Security broadcast that we were doing. And it was just good to have the information there again for the bettor and the fan, and to be able to fill in the other things that were important about the winner and the connections of those races. You win a race on Derby Day, and that's like hitting a home run.
No question.
It's like winning a Breeders' Cup race.
Yeah.
But if you win a stakes race on Derby Day, you know what I'm saying, with the crowd and everything, and on the Oaks Day, it's just it's just a special win and that kind of thing. And you really have a lot to talk about, because you see the best horses in the country coming in, and the major connections, and the best horses, the best trainers. Everybody wants to have a presence on Derby week, on Kentucky Derby week, and especially for the Oaks and the Derby. So it's always a lot of fun to do that. And you guys added a lot, man. And Mike, I thank you again. Mike and Louis both, we just all hit it off real good. And chemistry is very important. I know you guys realize that, and I'm sure you talked about that. But to be able to to work with different people, and just to get that flow, and there's no hierarchy. We just got on there and we just started doing it. That's important.
Yep. Yeah, no, I totally agree with everything EJ said. And EJ, I wanted to speak just a little bit here, because I don't know how much Mike's willing to say, but just your influence on him, how much he respects you. I think it's really difficult to measure, because it's extraordinarily high. He really holds you in incredible esteem. And so thank you for frankly, getting him into this because he got me into this, and it's been a tremendous ride. And I'm so glad that we got to start the ride with you. So thank you.
Well, let me say this again. And, we talked about this on Derby week, and what an incredible week that was, not only Derby 150, but me personally. And you two guys have sort of come along and been a part of the Kentucky Winter Circle. You went on your own. You created the Horse Racing Happy Hour and your own shows on the radio and on podcasts, and you took it up to another level than what we were able to do. We took it so far, and Lane and I both have never done this full time, and Mike, of course, you haven't done it, but Louis, you're almost full time, and you're doing a great job, by the way.
Thank you.
But you guys have taken it to another level. That makes me proud that you got started with us, and that makes me very happy for you guys that you could take this show, make it a podcast that's heard worldwide with racing fans out there everywhere, and then add to it. And Louis, of course, you're doing several radio shows right now, and so you're sort of picking up. And Mike, I know you've got other things, and you're doing a great job with your own business. So want to wish you the best and everything. But going back to what we were able to, and it was a lot of fun. Just sit there and do radio and do it live, and it's that's the most exciting thing for me.
Well, thanks a lot, EJ. I appreciate you joining us, and we'll stay in touch, man, for sure.
We'll stay in touch, Mike. All the best. You did a great job for us. Can't thank you enough. Louis, thanks for putting this together, my man.
Of course. Yeah,
Good luck to you. All the
best.
best.
Thank you, EJ. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for jumping on. We appreciate it.
So EJ, we had, I think the thing about those post Derby shows and post Oaks shows, that the reason why they kind of came about, that was back before Churchill had the shuttle system.
Right.
So people were parking on site
or in the neighborhood or whatever. They were just stuck. That's right.
And so we're like, we got to give them something, because everyone's going out to dinner, right? Yep. It's like the latest dinner anyone in Kentucky ever eats. And so everyone's going to dinner, and our job was to give talking points to those people when they were heading to dinner.
Yep.
And especially, I think the one that was more important than anything was the Oaks post show, because we could talk about what happened to Oaks Day, but then we could start really hammering in on what that Derby field is.
Yep.
By that point, we've had pretty much almost had all the scratches. Of course, we've had some surprises over the years on Saturday morning, but
sure.
But typically things were kind of done by then. And it was really special. And then it just reminds me too, and again, I have no idea who Louis is lined up for today, but before there was a Louis, we had a Road to the Winter Circle podcast with me, Kimberly Greenwell, and a guy named Brian the Insider.
Yeah, Brian. Yeah. BTI.
So those guys, man, shout out to you. We did our podcast there for 2 or 3 years. So it's 5 years here with Louis, but this is.
Well, frankly, like you mentioned, we've been doing this since Derby of 18.
Yeah.
Right. So really, it was when we decided to sit on the floor in your office and do this show in September. It was in 2019. Excuse me. So. There you go.
Good times though. And we talked a little bit about how.
What I love, by the way, is why we started doing this. Do you remember what you said to me?
I know why I wanted to start podcasting in the first place was really just so I could keep up with the horse racing calendar throughout the year.
You're like, I don't want to sound like a dumbass at Derby anymore. Like
that's pretty much what it was.
That's a good idea.
And at the end of the day, and what EJ was just talking about with that undercard, when you follow horse racing throughout the year, and you get a true appreciation for that undercard of those other 12 stakes races,
Pad Day Mile or the turf races, whatever.
Yeah,
so that's exactly right.
And you start to realize the Derby's the show; it's what everyone's coming to see, but it's not usually the best horse race, and it's not usually the best horses, because it's true. I think the old adage that people in Louisville tend to be Derby fans, and people in Lexington tend to be horse racing fans. And I had to learn how to be a horse racing fan, and that's kind of what we did through the podcast. And then along the way, we elevated things kind of like the Indiana Derby. I mean, we just made the Indiana Derby so much bigger than it was.
Oh, gosh. I don't know how I would survive without you.
Rachel loves when I do this. I wanted to give out our numbers since we started the podcast. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. So
Ooh, I love numbers.
So that way, let's just make sure everyone knows.
Except fourth grade math. I just realized you both have kids. Fourth grade math, not for me. Horse racing analytics, my jam. I have literally taken a break from fourth grade math to jump on here for you, Mike.
Thank you very much, Rachel. I appreciate that.
We are now in 73 countries with subscribers, and of course, every state around the country. 262 cities just in California. How about that?
Oh my gosh, that's amazing!
87,000 individuals have downloaded at least one episode of this podcast.
Well, there you
that's
go.
Amazing.
Stupid. That's insane.
We've had sponsors.
Stupid.
Oh man, everything
Kia,
from Proud Foreman to
Manscaped.
Kia, our friends at Caesars. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Yeah,
Shady Rays. Yeah. All
yeah,
of it,
gosh,
man.
man, oh man.
Manscaped.
Manscaped,
Ridiculous
that's
show.
right.
Manscaped
You had to do a
is
Manscaped read? You had to like.
I think Rachel should do the Manscaped. I'm just kidding.
I would text it to me right now.
We'll go to horse racing. If you have this going on and don't want to pay a barber, because you shouldn't, check out our friends at Manscaped. They've got the new Dome Shaver. Go check them out. Nice and easy that way. Just take care of it at home. Use our promo code horse racing, 20% off, free shipping to your house as well. Manscaped.com.
You know what happened to me 2 days ago?
Don't tell me.
I got a little email that said, "Hey," because I have it set up so like once every 6 weeks, it sends me my deodorant, it sends me my beard conditioner, like automatically. They package it up, they send it to me.
You gotta keep that stuff nice.
Yeah, it looks good, right?
It does. It looks wonderful.
Thank you, appreciate that. Racing Rachel from
Rachel, I wrote down like big memories on here. The DQ has already been talked about.
Okay.
I mentioned our first Oaks together being Monomoy Girl, which is not a bad Oaks.
That's not a bad Oaks.
Right?
No, that was a good one.
Our first Indiana Derby was 2021.
Yes.
Okay. And something very special happened that day, Rachel. And I'm not at all sure you know how special it was for Mike. And I'm not trying to be, I'm not being funny or anything. You were like, yo, go to the paddock. We're going to pick race 4 or something, right? One of the early state bred allowances. Race 5.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah,
appreciate that very much. Yeah. And I give a pick. Megan gives a pick. You give a pick. And we get to Mike. And he goes, I don't know. I actually think Big Fudge is going to win here.
And what happens?
Big Fudge goes romping.
Oh my God, I remember that.
So now our joke is Mike's nickname is
Big Fudge.
Big Fudge. So there you go.
Was that your first time ever on a simulcast?
That was my first time ever doing a paddock pick and being on simulcast. Absolutely.
Wait, when did I do?
By the way, it's my last time being on simulcast.
Oh, honey. Oh, if I would have known it was your last year, this last year, I would have done a special handicapping with you.
He didn't even know, frankly.
Yeah, I think it was actually at the Indiana Derby this year where I was just like starting to like something. There was a conversation that I had at the Indiana Derby that kind of made me start thinking. It's like, okay, well maybe it's time. And that's neither here nor there. And it wasn't.
Did I say something?
Nope, not with you at all.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Was it me?
It was not with you. It was not with either one of you. I wouldn't even. Honestly, I don't even know the person's name. So
how about that?
That is, I will give you guys. I literally got a little. I didn't even like have anything to do with EJ, obviously, but that was so sweet. Like he was talking about you guys, like you were his kids, sort of like a proud dad.
We were. I mean, we kind of were.
So sweet.
EJ talked about us carrying out the legacy of his work, and Rachel, it overwhelms me. It really
does. Me too. And I don't get emotional, but I was cheesing to the point my face hurt because I was like, this man is so proud of them. And I am like really proud of you guys too, not to sound condescending, but you guys are been in horse racing probably longer than I have, but I swear that was like the cutest thing ever. Like,
but you know what, Rachel?
Really
you have more followers than we do, and so we appreciate being able.
I'm old. People don't realize. I mean, I've been around for like 13 years, and people don't get it. They think that So I mean, I've played my
old. I mean, yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Botox.
I do know. Yes, right. I don't have to. I have lots of collagen, aka fat.
Yeah, beautiful. And then Mike has the hat.
That's right.
But okay, big fat. Yeah, you got a full head of hair. Big Fudge though. That was your. And Louis, when was your first time on the simulcast?
That day with you.
And Brian Spencer, who used to do Fairgrounds, his first time. Sarah. Yeah, her first time was. I'm gonna be inappropriate, followers. I love popping people's simulcast cherries. It's my thing. I love. Because this is what, and if anybody follows me on X, Twitter, whatever, Jenna, I call her Baby Shark because the first time she ever got there, she was, and her sister's Jessica Otten. She had never done TV. She had never done anything on TV, and she was nervous. And I said, listen, I was like, baby sharks are born swimming. You can either get on and you talk, and if you don't, I'll take the mic away from you and save your life. That's the end of it. And it's like, baby sharks are born swimming. So I love giving people their first shot on the simulcast.
I will tell you this though, that year.
Give us the real letter grade now that Mike's quitting. How did we do on the Indiana draw this year, the Derby draw?
Dude, you guys crushed it. And Louis, if I have to come do it with you this year, like this next year, we're doing that again.
Rachel, I'm not going anywhere. I have a disease. It's called loving doing this.
We lost Rachel. What happened? She's gone. It's all right.
That's so Rachel, man. That's fantastic. Oh,
her phone died. Her computer. Or her
kid ran in and just came over something. Yeah.
That was it. That's probably what happened. But
oh man, Steve. Oh
Steve, man, there he is.
Yeah.
He was anyway.
Was it Steve?
It might have been Steve.
How about that?
Yeah. So.
Oh man, Ramon Co's ruining your career. How about that?
No. Rachel's back. I want to say, by the way, it was a lot of fun.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened.
I'm glad, and really for us to do that draw was so important.
So
because you and I talked on the phone about doing it. About hey,
it was your idea. I'm gonna give you 100% credit because you were like, dude, let us come back there and do it. And I was like, yeah. And it was your idea to move the table from the second floor where there's like a private event down to the awning, which was I don't even know why I didn't think about that year.
Yeah, it was great.
And at the end of the day, though, the thing about us was, I wanted to give back because I think when we went to the Indiana Derby in 2021, it was like I think the imposter syndrome before that was really, really big. And then that was the first time I was like, oh, all right, we're people know who we are.
We're kind of figuring this out. Yeah, right.
We're catching on. We're getting some waves. And I think, I don't know if that was the first year where you were really trying to blow it out from the social media podcast.
That was a Wednesday Derby.
People, it wasn't
that was, I think, our first Wednesday Derby. Well, 2020 was our first Wednesday Derby, wasn't it?
We couldn't come up there. We were
2021.
Yeah, but your first Wednesday Derby, and we got such great numbers that first time. So that was a good one.
And so I just felt like you brought us up there and you put us in the spotlight, and you had all these other guys who were up there who were just kind of visiting and whatever else, and they're like, we kind of felt like kind of the big deal around there. So it was.
Hell yeah, I gave you guys like your own table. Like I treat my boys right.
Yeah, man. No, and it was good. It was good. It was awesome also just to see how you've turned that an event into like where you get this collection of horse racing media degenerates that come up and hang out together. It really is. I mean, it
is a homecoming now. I mean, different times of year.
Yeah.
Like, Derby's in the spring, Breeders' Cups in the fall. Like the summer, if people can't get to Saratoga, like Indiana Derby actually offers that kind of environment.
I know. I'm like really proud of the friends that I've made in this industry because, and I'm very, very blessed to have Eric as a boss, Eric Hallstrom, because he gets that, like that the, connection of friends and people that you meet like on social media or whatever, like Bree Mott from Stable Duel came out. Ed and I are really good friends. And even Sarah, came out there and I gave her, some time on the simulcast. So yeah, dude, the people that I've met and you guys are my most favorite, just all the people I've met and stuff, but you guys are both my favorite.
Thank you very much.
Don't tell the others though.
Well, we do have
a very unpopular podcast.
Don't tell Joe. Joe and I have been friends for like a decade, so don't tell him.
I'll tell you this, though, too, Rachel. It's been awesome to get to kind of know you and be with you and hang out with you over the years.
I think you're actually more likely to go to the Indiana Derby this year as a spectator than you are to go to the Preakness or something.
Well, I can't go to the Preakness. It's graduation weekend for Rocky.
Or anything else, frankly. I can see you.
Can I come up with you
or whatever?
Yeah. But I think, hey, but you know what people need to realize? They're still racing out there. Tell us kind of what's going on up in Indianapolis.
Yeah, it does kind of slow down a little bit after Derby, but we have a lot of really good handicaps. We got rid of the stakes name, so horses can run on Lasix, and now they're handicaps, but they're the same races, same conditions and everything, and they're really, really good. We've got October next Wednesday. We have a couple Empire and I can't remember. I've been drinking, and then but we have next Wednesday. We have handicaps, and then we do have October 26th. It's the Empire and the.
You don't have to
Anyway, two really good things.
All you had to say was, "We're racing on this day, this day. Come on up. You can go bet some
Listen,
races."
I worked all day today, all day, and I got home. My kids are running around screaming, doing homework, and I came in the bathroom to talk to you. So you can take me having a couple White Claws.
What days are you all racing in Horseshoe, Indianapolis?
We're racing. Tomorrow is the last Friday. We had 2 Fridays. For the rest of the meet, pretty much we're Monday through Thursday, and then we do have the Indiana Champions Night, which is October 26th. That we have
Saturday before Breeders' Cup for everybody.
Yeah, yes,
Yep.
and we always and Eric's smart. He always puts it right there, so it's a really good day to run at night, and it's like a half thoroughbred, half quarter horse night. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and you guys line it up where you start when Keeneland finishes that day. No,
Exactly, Eric.
Yeah.
Eric Holstrom and Louis is really good at handicapping quarters. I'm going to tell you that right now. Maybe you should come out on
I would have to be
and help me handicap.
all these quarter horse Saturdays and no emails. How about that? Text messages about that either. I know I'm not.
Dude, you know how busy I am.
You finally.
It's not for lack of love, bro.
But how much does it cost to go to Horseshoe, Indianapolis?
$0.
$0. It's right there. Listen, I'm telling you, right? It's good racing. The casino's right there. They got restaurants and Shelbyville's really kind of growing.
Oh, it's a cool town now.
It's fantastic.
Yeah,
so.
Downtown's really fun.
Hipster town. Yeah, no, for sure.
Exactly.
I will say, I saw someone on X, like after this whole debacle happened, that they were saying like the people were horrible. They're never coming. That is a bold-faced lie. There is not one person that has ever come to our track that have said that the one thing they say is your track is so nice because they think it's going to be a podunk track in cornfields. I mean, let's just be honest. And it's so nice, and the people are wonderful. And I will take a lot of criticism, as you guys know, but I will always stand behind my people. Like all of everyone that works there, and you guys can attest. And it's not just because we work together. They're really, really awesome people. Everyone's super nice. We have had such a great time when you guys come, and I'm so happy to work with you guys. And I'm very sad, Mike. I love you so much.
Let's still see me around.
Yeah, you got to be around. If you want to come next year, you know a girl that can hook you up.
Thank you, Rachel.
It's a nice thing.
Love you guys.
For the free race.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Rachel.
You can come watch the show. Yeah, right.
Yeah. There she is. Racing Rachel. I mean, she was a big part of it too. Again,
well, early on,
when we're wanted to followers and viewers and whatever else.
Dinnerman jumped on. She jumped on. Like people at these kinds of tracks, these were the people that would jump on with us, and it's been great. And I thought an appropriate final live guest
would be someone who never ever helped us get a follower.
Stop it. Was our first ever guest.
First ever guest, right?
Our
here.
first ever guest at Breeders' Cup here at Churchill Downs, and his name is John Sherva. How about that? He even put a shirt on for this episode.
There he is.
Oh man,
John Sherva joined the show.
Is his last name one of the words like top 10 that we've said all time on this podcast?
We mention him almost every week.
Every week. Yeah. Welcome in, John. Good evening.
Thank you. You know, you do say it a lot, and it's usually with derision, which it should be.
No,
I think that's good. But yes, I was your first. I think I wasn't your first live guest.
I think you were.
Were I?
Well, Jenny Reese had turned me on to the newsletter.
Okay.
And I started reading it just because, I mean, frankly, you did a good job. How about that? You did a good job, John. It was interesting, and I enjoyed it. And it was a circuit that I wasn't terribly familiar with, so I was learning a lot really quickly. And I emailed you. I think you got back to me within 45 minutes. Yeah, I'd love to come on, something like that. You know, I'd be happy to, something like that. So no, I thought an appropriate final live guest for Mike would be John Sherman.
I mean, someone who we've broken bread with many times, who I definitely consider a friend.
No question.
Even though he feeds his dog better than what I eat in a week, you know, it's all.
It's not the dog's fault.
But listen, I mean, just really like, for more than anything else about elevating the show, I mean, serious horse racing journalist John Sherva, serious sports journalist. He's covered all these Olympics and these NBA championships and all these other things. But you know, you kind of gave Louis a little bit of a platform that kind of helped us have some legitimacy. And
Giant platform.
Yeah, LA Times. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but to help for Louis to be a part of that newsletter and just take the Oaks rankings, which were fun.
And I don't have it on here. The Oaks rankings turned into like very predictive. Like the model really worked. I mean, I think all 5 of the top 5 finishers were in my top 6, John. And so, yeah, that actually, and I think you got some decent feedback. I know that was the year you had to shut things down, but I think you got some good feedback. People saying like, oh, I love the Oaks Derby double, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they do, and the newsletter was really nice when it, when it was going. And I always get people who still come up to me and say, hey, Gas, I'm sure you missed the newsletter.
Yeah.
But, things change, things progress. And, so here we are. I mean, Mike, I did catch a little bit earlier part of the show, and I think EJ is still talking. And
oh man, but EJ, that's kind of a good point. All right.
Yes.
He's never gonna run out of things to say for sure. No.
So it's going to be
a bottomless pit of information.
So my investigative report, of course, is it going to just be a solo show with Louis, or what?
Oh, he wants to know what's next. Do you have any announcements? I don't know. I don't know the answer to this.
You actually don't know the answer to that.
I do not know the answer.
John, the plan is solo through Breeders' Cup, and I've had no conversations with anyone about filling this.
Intentionally, or like people haven't reached out.
I have not had conversations with.
They
want to
know what the pay. They want to know what the pay is, or whatever.
Well, okay, I've got it figured out. Okay.
Okay.
What you're doing is you're doing something so that you have to remodel your logo with just one horse, or put like one of those big red X's with the line through it over the.
I like the red X.
The red X is such a good idea. Which one are we Xing out?
And then when you do that, you get to sell all new horse racing happy hour merch.
There you go,
man. If this were a merchandising push, wouldn't that be amazing? If you're like, well, I want you to make a couple bucks here. Go ahead and just have a solo horse.
Yeah, right.
That's actually a good idea for a logo. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh man, but John, honestly, I think you probably of anyone listened to the most episodes of this show. I think that's probably true.
We've gotten better and we've evolved.
I doubt it, but but I think that's true. I think for sure you're the most mentioned person while not on the podcast. And look, I'm sure. You know what? I'll let you talk. I mean, John was fair to us right away. Rachel was one of those people as well. I mean, it's just it's amazing how lucky we've gotten to run into people like John.
Well, I think for me, number one, you got someone who does horse racing for the LA Times, right? I mean, so look, and right off the bat, I never got the sense that John felt like he was better than us, or he didn't have time for us, or else like, and then it kind of even to me, as we would cover races across the country and whatever else, when we walk in the press box, we would see John. We would almost like elevate the entire spirits of the press box just by because it was the only cheerful conversation that was going on in there, between and if you throw in Flatter in there too,
then it was not cheerful, right?
Yeah. But that's probably my best memory right there is Flatter and Sherva trying to do tech support with these millennials during the Preakness this year.
Look at Joe, and Flatter's like, you idiot.
Sherva's online trying to turn his phone into a hotspot. It was great. It was fantastic.
Okay, that's a wonderful segue into some of the things that I will miss about Mike Gandolfo. And the first one is to have someone there at Pimlico when the Wi-Fi went out and I didn't have a phone that had a hotspot, who just like I didn't even ask. He just was overhearing and says, "Here, use my phone, plug it in. And I should probably give out what the password is. Actually, I think it's Robot. No." Anyway, so just his generosity, his kindness, and just being a good guy. I'll of course miss the history of how virtually every stakes race was named, which you've
I like that part of the show.
I think that was good.
I like that part.
I did too. Yeah. And finally, what I'll miss is there'll be no one to stop Louis' sort of girlish little laughs every once in a while.
Maybe Louis won't laugh as much. You ever think about that?
Your somber show from here on out.
Could do that.
No, it's just actually. Do you want a serious question?
Sure,
You go for it.
Okay. Now, for those who don't know, and they all do probably if they watch the show from the beginning, is Mike's a big real estate guy. Like he's like one of the top guys in
6'4",
Louisville.
over 300 pounds. Yeah, I'm big. He's fun.
So, was your decision to pull back in any way related to the new real estate rules that went that came in that is going to occupy more of your time or whatever? And the rules are a change in a flexible commission, I guess.
Okay, so I'm going to answer this not in the way that you probably think, but to give a very real, honest answer about that. When we started doing the show, I was also doing a lot of real estate content, pushing a lot of real estate content out, helping a lot of other agents. I'm a coach at heart. That's what I enjoy doing. I am not becoming a real estate coach. That is not what I'm doing. It's not. But I am going to make an effort to put out there more content to kind of help elevate the professionalism in the real estate industry. I think that's going to be a big part of what I'm doing. I'm putting the final touches. I've got a chapter and a half left of the book that I'm writing right now that I'm get to send to Dan Ellman as soon as it's done. And then
and put it on that if that's on the shelf next to his name. I would lose my mind.
But I've got an event that we're hosting here in Louisville that we're probably going to have a couple hundred people attend live, and then we're going to have close to 1,000 people streaming across the country, and we're just going to help. We talk about I don't want to get too far.
For an hour, you turn into EJ.
I do this thing with realtors where I tell them to pull up their phone and go to a search bar and type in realtors are, and they let it autofill. And it autofills with like realtors in crisis, realtors are crooks, realtors are, it's all these negative things. The only one that's ever good is realtors are good neighbors. And
sometimes good looking.
And I really have kind of dove into like why that is and why that exists. And Louis has experienced firsthand what it's like to deal with a terrible realtor on the other side of the transaction, by the way. We did everything we possibly could, and he'll attest to that, hopefully. We're still friends. But Louis literally had the worst real estate transaction out of any real estate transaction I've done in my 18 years. It was awful. And we're, like I said, we're still friends.
I'm still married.
Still fresh.
Really
that you're still
remarkable, married. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we just dealt with terrible human beings. And I think it actually probably started there where I was like, you know what, I've got to make sure that I'm a voice of positive change and what needs to happen in the real estate industry to increase the professionalism. But so not as much as like most of the news outlets are getting what's happening in the real estate world. They're getting it wrong. And oddly enough, the only good media coverage I've seen of it was on CNBC. There was a CNBC piece that hit it dead on. That was perfect with it. So, yeah.
But you are shifting this amount of time and focus onto that.
I'm focusing my content creation on improving the real estate industry. Yes.
Yeah, and on top of this, not just happy hour, you were doing Kentucky post games, and you're as big a Kentucky basketball fan as I know. Yeah. So to give those up as well is not a small.
No, that's the thing. Like that for sure, and that's where I can speak intelligently, and that's a big thing too. But I felt after the lawsuits, especially, like I had this idea and I didn't act on it, and I felt like a responsibility to act on it. And I think now too, and hey, by the way, if you need an agent anywhere in the freaking country, I know people who work at that level of professionalism, and I'm happy to hook you up with them. Just send me something on Twitter and I will connect you with a great agent in your market.
Sell it.
But yeah, this is it. I mean, that's really where my content creation is going. And then we're going to try to aggressively grow our company here too. Like we've been a small boutique real estate brokerage, and we're not going to try. We are going to become a much bigger brand in our marketplace. And I've got a 3-year time frame to get that done.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I asked.
Yeah, there it is.
So
yeah,
plus we don't like each other anymore. That's really the
that is hardcore journalism to get this straight answer.
They always say about John Sherba, he gets people to admit things they wouldn't admit to him.
I guess
that's JC.
Yeah. But hopefully, from people hearing me talk about that, hearing the passion in my voice, they could see that why I'm doing what I'm doing.
There you go.
I've given up things I truly enjoy and that I love to do to go chase a bigger vision.
So the real question here, with John still on, is what is the percentage drop in mentions of Sherva? Because I feel like you mentioned him. Do you feel like this? Mike says your name more than I do?
I've not really done an analysis of that.
Yeah. Sherva, man.
Sherva's like, I gotta get mentioned. It is what it is. I'm John Sherva. It is what it is. I get it. I also get it. I mean, it's John Sherva.
I just anticipate that Sherva will stop traveling to these big races anymore because he's not going to.
Yeah, if you're not going to be there, why go? I'm with you.
Yeah. Why go Del Mar? You can watch it on TV.
Yeah.
You guys can FaceTime and watch together.
Yeah, I mean,
I need the photo of the screenshot of you doing a FaceTime during Del Mar's Breeders' Cup and John sitting with his dog. That'd be great.
I'm actually going to make the trip to Santa Anita at the end of the month for the California Crown.
Look at you.
Ooh,
Yeah. All right.
I hope it's better than the Pacific Classic, which was like the dog of all dogs. I mean, once Adair Manor scratched out.
Once she was out. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not sure if we're allowed to talk about actual horse racing here, or just our adoration for Mikey and Dolphin.
For Mikey G.
let me ask you this question?
Yes.
Is Fierceness now your 3-year-old horse of the year when it comes to the Eclipse voting? Which I guess I still
on the cold side. You got.
I'll do my vote.
One last vote. Yep.
Yeah. Will Fierceness get your vote for 3-year-old colt of the year?
We need to see the breeders. Somebody has to stand out in the Breeders' Cup. It's door knock or Fierceness, right?
What if City of Troy comes over here and looks freaking incredible?
Well, we'll see that if it happens.
Is one race enough for John Sherva to move an Eclipse apart?
No.
Okay. Then what if Forever Young came over and looked incredible?
I think that one's better, actually.
It's a year. It's an award for a year, not an award for a day.
Okay. All right. There we go.
I think that's all very fair.
Yeah.
You'll be at Del Mar, though, yes?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be at Del Mar.
We can Eclipse vote. It's unreal.
Well, that's the most ridiculous part of this show is they let us at the turf right.
But it's because of John Sherman. Let's be real. Here.
It's one of
well, Mike, you can vote this year too.
Yeah, I'll get to vote this year.
Yeah, because you've got the preponderance of time. You've actually been to way more horse racing than I have. So
there you go.
Oh man! All right.
Well, John, we mean it. Thank you. I'm not going to stop talking to you just because Mike's gone, but I hope you enjoyed the mentions, and we mean it. Thank you for all of the opportunities, frankly, and thank you on top of that for downloading the show. It does mean something else.
And you make sure you cut that fillet extra good.
You know what? Actually, one more thing.
That dog cannot choke on fillet.
One of these things. By the way, our guy Roger, we'll get to that in a second. John actually, when he was covering one of those Olympics, intentionally downloaded our show in China so it would ping.
That is true. That is true.
John did that for us. I still remember that. I really, really appreciate it. So
it's one of our 73 countries because of Sherpa.
No, we actually now in China have I only did subscribers. Where we've been downloading is way more.
Okay, we got actually, I guess but maybe he cut through the Chinese government.
Yes, right. Oh, yeah.
So that our
John Chris Lights and Lamb. Let's be honest about what this is.
Actually, we had our own pipe whenever we go to places like China or Russia. We dedicate our own pipe. They can still get to it, but it's not as monitored.
Okay.
The pipe back to the States.
Oh boy. There you go. All right.
There you have it.
More pipe talk with John Sherva. How about that?
All right. Take care.
Bye. Bye.
There he is, John Sherva.
We got a couple messages coming in from some special people.
We got Roger saying, "Good luck, Mike. Hope you're still coming in Derby. Hope to see you at Churchill." Roger is this just incredible horse owner up in Indianapolis, Poetry, Indiana. Just really kind of put that place, keeps that place going. So,
well, yeah, he's part of that group and all those. If you have a track, the breeding programs there, all that stuff, you need guys like Roger for sure. The other thing, with Roger is just how welcome he doesn't work there.
No,
and he's just super nice to us. And so, I go up there right before Derby, and I'm just like, hey, let's get dinner. He's like, sure, that kind of stuff. So it's fantastic. This one,
we have a mom
about that
coming on too, but yeah, it's nice that my mom's proud of me. Thank you very much, Mom. But the best part about my mom chiming in is the fact that my mom went to go get her mammogram. You remember this?
I do.
And they said, "Are you related to Mike Gendolf?" And they all were horse racing happier. And the place where my mom got her mammogram.
They did that to my wife one year. Is your husband Louis Rebeau? Oh, yeah. This show is ridiculous. Yeah.
That's the other we were out at Churchill, and I can't remember what it was for, but it was earlier on, and it was like, and there was a couple other horse racing guys that were kind of around. But when we were out there the first time when people came up to us and recognized us and like wanted to take pictures and stuff like that, I wasn't expecting that either. So.
The one that caught me off guard, it was we had started doing the video version of this show.
Yeah.
And then I went to the Arlington Million a couple weeks later.
Oh, yeah.
And I got stopped as soon as we walked in the building, and I'm like, good Lord, like the video's working. All right, there we go. So now that's fun. We, and we do like, tons of people show up for seminars and different things that we got to start doing. I mean, Chef's Cut, man. I mean, with John and
love you, Chef.
Yeah, with all those things, and Blind Squirrel this year, and getting to do it at Jimmy's Seafood, and I mean, we're going to be doing one at Del Mar. I'll announce it next week, but just the best, man. Getting to meet people has been the best part of this.
It really has.
It really has. That's why I wanted to have so many people.
It's been very special. We got one more guy who wants to say something. Are we going to end the show with this or what?
No, I have other things I need to say to you.
Do you want me to play this now?
Play this.
All right. I've not seen this.
You've not seen this or heard it, yeah.
I do not know what is coming on here.
And 5 years for Mike on the Horse Racing Happy Hour. He is hanging it up. Do you have a message for him?
I do. I want to congratulate Mike on his 5 years of the Horse Racing Happy Hour. I commend him for lasting for 5 years because I worked with Louis and retired after a year and a half. So you've done a great job, Mike, on your retirement. Times that I have been on with you and Louis, I really enjoy it. You both are so knowledgeable about the game of horse racing, and sure Louis and the Horse Racing Happy Hour followers are all going to miss you. Even though you're going into retirement, I still want to remind you that you owe me a lunch because Mage won the Kentucky Derby. I don't know what the future will hold for you, Mike. None of us do. But I wish you all the best of health, happiness, and success. Congratulations, Mike.
All right, man. That was awesome. I mean, one of the thrills of doing this show is that a Kentucky boy is friends and can have jabs.
Yeah.
And Dan Issel, you can have lunch anytime you want. We won't even go through the drive-thru. It'll still.
It's not Moby Dick.
It won't. No. I would. He's. Next time he's in town, Dan. We'll grab lunch. I'm sure Louis will make sure that happens. And but it's just it's incredible to know that Dan Issel is someone that I could pick up the phone and call and he would answer. I mean, it's just,
something I appreciate about what we've done with this show is when we say friend of the show, we mean friend.
Yeah,
we just do, and we've gotten to meet people, and you've seen a lot of them tonight. And I mean, there's lots of people not on tonight too, and I had to cut it off at some point.
Sure,
because we're here for 3 hours.
Kornacki, you didn't make the cut, okay, Kornacki. I know you're upset about it, but it's okay.
You're actually right. But like Barry and other Zach.
Cheers,
Producer Zach, by the way, people that listen to this show,
I know he's crushed. By the way,
producer Zach is.
Thanks
debating right now because he's running for school district board where he lives and his kids go to school, which, by the way, I commend him. Good for him. But he calls me a couple hours ago, goes, oh, crap, dude. I forgot. I'm so focused on this debate. And I was like, yeah, I get it. You're good. But yeah, there you go, man. Now, when we say friends of the show, we really mean friends. No one said no, by the way.
Yeah. Well,
everyone said, yeah, when. It was right away for you, man. So
that's
you
awesome.
should feel great about it.
I really do. And I really appreciate it. And like, I'm also going to just, say I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Megan, honestly, too. So,
of course.
Megan, it was awesome doing the show with her the first couple of years and how important it was to be with her.
How much we learned.
And just,
oh my God.
I mean, she's just a wealth of knowledge. Yep. Just, she sees it so much differently than anyone else that I've ever been around. So, and then that introduced us to Cody, which then I got to do my
have it on here.
My picture in the Breeders' Cup.
So you talked about this like moment at Indiana Grand, when it was Indiana Grand, of like people recognizing us walking around.
Yeah.
My moment was when we got credentialed and we were Radio Row, and that's it for both the Derby and the Breeders' Cup that year.
Yeah.
That was the year, dude, when no one else was there. When GD Hieronymus goes, hey, we're going to drag some pub tables from inside outside because I can't have you inside. That was the moment, dude. That was it. It like driving to Lexington with you to get COVID tested at the end of October so we could go to Breeders' Cup. Going back to Breeders' Cup in 2022 and almost dying because you're driving my car because my eyelid stuck to my eye overnight and I couldn't see it. I had a headache.
And we almost
and a cop was parked in the worst possible place for us to turn into Keeneland. And Mike, I'm not gonna lie, only time in my life flashed before my eyes. But you hit those brakes, bro, and we're still here.
We're still here.
Oh man, Issel came with us on that Breeders' Cup.
Yep.
It was so windy you had to sit on the tent
to
stop it from flying away, and you still got lifted off the ground. Both of us landing
but
on.
we got to see the man there.
We got to see Flight Line. That's right. Serengeti Empress wins the 2019
That's
Oaks.
a huge one.
The two of us, man, were like, that's it. And we came to it independently. And I love that part, right?
Yeah.
So that was a fantastic moment.
That woman that you helped like hit that big bet because of that. What was that? Yeah.
Was it 13-1 on Serengeti Empress? Something like that? Yeah, 12-1, something like that.
Number, yeah.
So that was awesome. The big fudge moment, though, was really because how you still talk about it. Right? No. Like not just being on a simulcast or being on TV or whatever. Getting it right.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it, man.
That's took it and we hit it.
Boom.
Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go.
And before that, 2017.
Okay.
At our school fundraiser together.
That's right. For Breeders' Cup.
Breeders' Cup weekend. And that's when we discovered one another.
That's exactly right. They decided to do a bourbon and cigars area outside.
Yeah.
I brought a TV and you were like, what do you bring the TV for? I was like, I want to watch the Breeders' Cup. And you're like, and you were into it at the time too.
Yep.
And that's kind of where it's like, and then I think a couple of weeks later, said something to you in the school parking lot when we were picking up our kids. And
do you want to try Derby Radio? What you said, you want to try Derby Radio?
That's right. And then
it was the quickest answer of my life.
Now you've been coast to coast with me.
So there it is. Go. And then of course, Breeders' Cup this last November, Derby. That picture in front of our Airbnb in Baltimore, in front of a Kia Forte.
Yep.
Dude, it's not going to get better than that. So the show is peaked. I understand that, people. We'll trudge on without Mike, but a lot of greats. We didn't mention JD.
Nope.
Stable Boy. Kevin Kilroy. Seth went to the Jeff Ruby Stakes with me the Wednesday COVID hit.
Yep.
That Saturday, I should say. COVID dropped. They canceled everyone's tickets on Wednesday. He and I went to the Jeff Ruby Stakes that Saturday, man. Just wild. And so, I mean, but yeah, just weird, wild stuff. Going through a National Guard gun post just to go to the Derby.
Yeah.
Standing on a 76-degree day 4 years ago. No one there. You, me, and Tim Sullivan in the media section.
That's pretty much it.
And no one else until like the finish line.
Right.
That was it, man.
It was so weird to be at that Derby, and then like you could like literally hear conversations that were happening.
Oh, literally a half mile away,
5 sections away.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right.
It was nuts.
Yeah. So no, I wouldn't change a freaking minute of this.
No, it's been a lot of fun.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so no, this I think it's meant different things to both of us.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, like you've always heard me say, like I always wanted to keep this as something fun and a hobby, and it's never been about making money for me.
Sure.
It's just been about like let me have kind of a release and so that it was always that for me. It was I never wanted to see this as a job, right? Like I never wanted to think of this as like going to work. I never wanted to come to this and feel like I have to do something. Like I always wanted to feel like I get to do something, or and every single year getting those Derby credentials or whatever, getting credentials for whatever else.
Yeah.
It's like I get to do this. Like I get an opportunity to be here. I get to make an eclipse vote. I mean, that's another thing. Again,
be part of the zeitgeist of the sport. That's right. Yeah.
Right. And then and so for me, I know that was it for you. Now you've taken this, and you've got a legit opportunity for this to be a career. Like if anyone's out there and is looking for someone for on-track talent or whatever else, like, this is your dude. I mean, there's no question. No one's going to work harder, study more, come up with interesting angles than what Louis can do. And I think that for you, like you've opened up this pathway where like you could really just elevate to be one of the key media members in this sport, like at the very, very, very top level of the kind of guy that gets an award named after him someday.
Do you know what I think about a lot actually is I think about whoever's going to do what we do, but way better.
That's kind of what EJ said, right?
Yeah, no, but I'm already excited about that person.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance that person's out there. I don't know what they look like, where they live, what language they speak, whatever. there's a chance right now they haven't even watched a horse race, and in 5 years they're going to be doing this better.
Yeah,
I think that person's
and
definitely.
honestly, like,
and I hope they are for sure.
And I
like EJ talked about. You're right.
And I'm not trying to sound arrogant when I say this. We did some cutting edge things that other people then took and said, "Hey, they're onto something." Like, there's no question. There was things that we.
The Derby draft got copied as soon as we did.
The Derby draft, the even the happy hour kind of concept about got copied right off the bat.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of things that we were doing that people have realized, and this was. We haven't talked about this yet, and this is important. The other, we talked about why did I want to start this show, and one of the reasons was so that I didn't sound like a dumbass at Kentucky Derby Day, which I'd never accomplished that. I still sound like a dumbass. But mainly because
there's a bit of dumbassery to the show. Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that we made a show that was fun and approachable, because every single piece of horse racing media was so in the weeds and serious. Yeah. And the reality of the person who was listening to the show are the people who are trying to learn the sport and understand what's going on, and they really needed it. I'm no insult to the listener, but they needed it dumbed down. They needed the sport to be approachable. That was the main goal. That was the main objective always of this show, is to make it approachable, to never be in the weeds, give some people some good tips, but make sure that they became fans of the sport. And hopefully we did that. All right.
Job well done, friend.
We're out of here. Thank you guys very much. I hope you all continue to listen to Louie.
By the way, new segment starts on Monday, weekend reaction show on Monday. So be watching for that.
All right. Thank you guys very, very much. And, catch him next time on the Horse Racing Happy Hour. All right. I guess I got to play music. No
glasses, nothing like that.
Here.
Welcome to Horse Racing 101 with the Horse Racing Asmussen.
There's another great movie right there, Asmussen.
Asmussen.
You guys.